Good afternoon, everybody. I am Youyou Li, and I'm a PhD student at University of Amsterdam. I'm going to switch the topic to talk about the leptonic source, so there will be no neutrino coming out of it. You can take a break from neutrinos, but please don't take a break from listening. It's good to be open-minded always. So I will talk about what I'm working on right now, that is forecasting the Monogem TeV halo from with CTAO, which is a future ground-based gamma ray telescope. And I will cover first what are TeV halos, and then I will talk about the current observation status of TeV halos and how can CTAO help us in this scenario. And then I will go into more details of how I modeled the TeV halo and then simulated the observation with CTAO because it's a future telescope, so I have to simulate the observation. And then the simulated observation results. Yeah, so what's our TeV halos? So they became very interesting gamma ray sources since around 2017. That's Hawke observed two very extended gamma ray emission in TeV energy around nearby pulsar wind nebula. One is Geminga, another one is Monogem. Here I'm showing the updated result from 2024. And on the right-hand side, I'm showing the illustration of how we understand these very extended gamma ray objects. So in the very center of I'd like to stress that these are very extended gamma ray emission objects. So the radius, if we look at the blob of one TeV halo and take the radius of it, it's around 25 parsecs of radius. And then on the right-hand side, we have the illustration of the theoretical understanding of how these TeV halos became. So in the very center of 1 parsec size region, we have the accelerator, that is the pulsar wind nebula that is accelerating electron positrons, and then they get injected into the interstellar medium that is showing in the blue region here. And then these electron positrons lose their energy through synchrotron and inverse Compton emission, and then lose all of their energy. And from the equation, from this equation here, we could estimate the diffusion coefficient of how fast the electron positrons traverse through the space in the immediate interstellar medium by estimating the energy loss time of electron positrons at specific energy, and we also get how far they diffuse before they lose all of their energy by looking at how extended those gamma ray emissions are. So we know the diffusion length of the electron positrons, and shockingly, the diffusion coefficient around these regions are around 2 orders of magnitude smaller compared to the average interstellar medium. So this become a very interesting thing that people want to look into, so that they could understand more or less, they could understand more of the plasma physics that happens in those regions, because this is already the interstellar medium region that we would expect that cosmic rays behave more or less the same as in the interstellar medium, but it's not. Yeah, and following the first Hawke observation, there were a few more observations of TeV halos observed by both Hawke and Lasso. And there is the interesting thing that came out with the 2024 Lasso catalog, that they said around 40% of their first, the source catalog in the TeV to PeV energy range coincides with pulsars. So a lot of those unidentified sources could be TeV halos. And also, this is a new paper that came out by the HawK collaboration. That's they showed TeV halos are detected through stacking analysis of 36 isolated pulsars. So that means the TeV halos could be very commonly exist around pulsars, but they do stacking analysis. That means that detecting each individual pulsar, the TeV halos around pulsars could be very challenging. They could be very faint to detect. So what can CTAO contribute here? As I mentioned earlier, CTAO is a future gamma ray telescope that will be consisted of the three Cherenkov image telescopes that I'm showing here. And they will, in the end, they will cover both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So we can observe the sources in the full sky range. And what can it achieve is first that it has better sensitivity compared to the current image Cherenkov telescopes. So if we compare in around okay, here. So if we look at the TeV energy range, here is the sensitivity curve of the CTAO observatory, and compare with all the other current Cherenkov telescopes, that it's roughly, it can be an order of magnitude higher compared to the other existing ones. Here is a curve that is showing for SWIGO. That's another future telescope, gamma ray telescope, that could help us to understand more in the higher energy, beyond 10 TeV energy range sky. So yeah, it has very good sensitivity, so we can detect fainter halos. And also the angular resolution is high enough that we could resolve energy-dependent morphology, and it will help us to identify different model parameters that goes into modeling the TeV halos. And also it has quite a wide energy range. It covers from 20 GeV to 300 TeV gamma ray energy, so it can capture a lot of more spectral features in gamma ray. So here I'm showing our work of modeling this specific TeV halo. That is one of the first ones that I was showing in the first slides that was detected by HawK. So in short, what we did was we took a two-zone diffusion model, which is a phenomenological model that describes the particle injection and propagation from the pulsar wind nebula to the surrounding interstellar medium. And then we propagate the cosmic rays using the code GALPROP. It's a high-resolution numerical code that solves the cosmic ray transport in the galactic scale. And then from that, we calculate the energy-dependent morphology and the gamma ray spectrum from the of the TeV halo. And if you want more information, you can go to the paper and check it out. Yeah, and this is a showcase of what we could do by using these methods. And we only modeled this one TeV halo, but in the future it can be applied to other TeV halos as well. And one of the features coming out from this simulation is that we have very high spatial resolution, so we could have better understanding of how each model parameter will vary the gamma ray emission And also we include the proper motion of the pulsar. So it does, for example, in the plot on the left-hand side, we show that the arrow there is the proper motion of the pulsar, and it does distort the gamma ray emission a little bit. And then it comes to simulate the observation with CTAO. So to simulate the observation, we do not just have to model the source, but we also have to model the background. And for the background, we use the gamma pi package, and we included the galactic diffuse background, the isotopic diffuse background, which is contributed from the extragalactic gamma ray, and then irreducible cosmic ray background, and another component that accounts for the instrumental background that is in observation. And and we also have to consider the specific instrumental response function. In this case, that we took the instrumental response function of the future to be the official configuration of the CTAO telescope, that is called the alpha configuration, that will consist of 4 large-sized telescope and 9 medium-sized telescope in the north, and 14 medium-sized telescope and 37 small-sized telescope in the south. And if we see the energy range that these telescope cover here, the large-sized and medium-sized telescope cover more of a lower energy range, while the small-sized telescope covers beyond the 10 TeV energy. And we here is the detection results compare from the if we do the observation on the southern side or the observation on the northern side. So each of the data points here is so we took one benchmark source model, and then we did 10 realizations of each observation, so we could see the distribution of the test statistics of the detection. So we see that with 50 hours of observation in both south or north side, we can definitely claim a detection of the TeV halo, which are showing for the green data points in both of the plots. And also we want to know, okay, we can detect the source, but can we distinguish the model parameters from the detection? We conducted the analysis, and here is the result. And basically, how to read these plots is that if the data points, the delta test statistics is higher, then it's more distinguishable from the true parameter that we're trying to test here. And the 25 delta test statistics corresponds to a 5 sigma distinguishability, and 9, which is the yellow line here, corresponds to the 3 sigma distinguishability. And for example, if we see that the true, if around the source, the true magnetic field is 3 microgauss, will we misidentify it to be 5 microgauss or 10 microgauss? The answer here is that yes, it's really hard to distinguish in between the magnetic field that is around the source with the CTAO observation, because both of the delta test statistics here are around or below 3 sigma. Yeah, and this leads me to the conclusion. So first, TeV halo can be described by introducing a around 10 parsec size slow diffusion zone around the pulsar wind nebula. And the future CTAO can help us identify the source injection spectrum around and the slow diffusion zone size. That's a parameter that we use to describe the TeV halo. And as I just showed, that it's really hard to distinguish the magnetic field around those pulsar wind nebula. So like in the future, X-ray observation is actually really crucial in the sense that if we want to know what is exactly the magnetic field around those sources. Thank you.
Thank you, Youyou. Are there questions? Let's start here.
I have a couple questions, but like maybe just one.
Yeah.
One, okay. So yes, you mentioned about like the X-ray observation can also like constrain on the magnetic field in these. So which kind of observation are you talking about? Like new star, SMM Newton, or like yeah.
Yeah. So if we take a look at, for example, here is the expected synchrotron plus inverse Compton emission from the source, and it extends to the X-ray range here. And if we are able to measure the spectrum in, yeah.
I guess it peak around at 100 keV would be, which maybe like new star or integral can be like more sensitive with these, right? So the spectrum like I pick. Yeah, but new star I mean much better because like they can go to a higher energy. Yes. No, we can talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There's a coffee break later. Maybe you can follow up. Yeah.
In your slide 6, is the reason for the difference in sensitivity just the number of telescopes in the northern and the southern area?
It's because the northern and southern array, they have different combinations of the telescopes they are using. Yeah.
And is there a physics reason for choosing the different number of telescopes, or just an internal collaboration decision?
I think it's not a physical reason, yeah, but I don't know the specific reason why they chose the arrays, yeah.
Thank you.
I guess it allows to play around with some R&D for different technologies. There was a question over here.
For the energy plot that you showed of the different size instruments, you showed like as a clear line between yes, not this one, but if you go farther,
I'm sorry.
I don't remember which slide number. If you keep going in your presentation, this one. So you show like kind of I was just wondering how much overlap or I guess do you have between each of these instruments, or since you just have like a clear line between your smaller scale instruments and your larger scale instruments?
Yeah, so because I don't do the instruments and I'm not so familiar with it. So if you really want the information, you can go to the website, the CTAO website, and then they have the energy range of each single telescope that is there instead of me saying some misinformation. Yeah.
One last question. Yeah.
A very quick one. Have you experimented with the simulation time or exposure time with CTAO, and is it possible to identify some spectral change as you move away from the pulsar wind nebula to the 25 parsec scale? So is it possible to detect spectral changes in the very high energy gamma rays, in other words?
I haven't experimented with that part. So right now the detection is only by like using template fitting. We create templates for different components and then the source as well. And then we fit the like the whole energy range all together. Yeah, so. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, you can also
Yeah.
follow up. Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Youyou.
you.